The beginning of the end. After the Allied landings in the summer of 1944, the Wehrmacht is on the defensive on all fronts. The fight is now hopeless, yet it is pursued with increased intensity. But most German soldiers do not recognize the hopelessness of Germany's situation until after they have been captured. VIP prisoners arrive at camp. Since the middle of 1943, captured German generals have been held at the English country estate of Trent Park near London. They still talk about the war and the Wehrmacht, even though the front line seems very distant in these comfortable surroundings. Stripped of their power among friends, the generals express themselves freely. They have no idea that their conversations are being secretly recorded, providing a unique record of what they were really thinking at the time.
It's time to make peace. What are we still fighting for?
I can answer that. The party. They can't make peace because they know only too well that they will be hanged.
That's right. Nobody wants to discuss peace with them.
Even if our government resigns, it still wouldn't be over. Then the Allies will come to us to negotiate, because they can't get any further.
I don't think we're going to agree about that.
Either we die, or they fall apart. The Americans don't know what they're fighting for anymore. And when they suffer too many casualties, they will ask, what in hell are we doing here?
No. It will be all over by spring. They break through by spring at the latest. And then it's all over.
Come along, Herr Wildermuth. After all, at the end of the day, we are still German officers.
What does it take to be a good German soldier? Does your honor force you to hold out in a hopeless situation? Every frontline soldier, whatever his rank, his character, or his posting, will struggle with this question in the final year of the war. The answers will be as varied as the men themselves. Commanders, like Field Marshal Ferdinand Schörner, who pushes his men in every way to give their all. Ordinary soldiers like Private Kurt Vetter, only a bullet can save his life. Or a senior officer like Gerhard Graf von Schwerin, torn as the war progresses between his duty to obey and his common sense. The 45-year-old lieutenant general is known to be willful, but he doesn't usually question orders.
Ich habe den Eindruck gehabt, dass ein loyaler Offizier und General war, der seine Aufträge ausführte, wenn auch manchmal mit Murren und vielleicht auch hier und da mit Einwänden dagegen und sich auch gegen eine unberechtigte Forderung stellte.
In mid-1944, under the overall command of Field Marshal Walter Model, Schwerin leads his panzers into battle against the advancing Allies in the west. His division is always sent where the action is hottest, to put out the flames. But through that summer, crushing Allied superiority forces them back, closer and closer to the German frontier. With this in mind, Schwerin unveils a new plan to his officers at his temporary headquarters at a medieval Belgian manor near Aachen. Or at least that's the story he tells after the war.
Ich jedenfalls hatte die Absicht, alles zu tun, den Krieg zu beenden, der aussichtslos geworden war. Das heißt, zu versuchen, die Stadt Aachen, die alte Kaiserstadt, aus dem Kampfgebiet herauszuhalten.
Man kann sagen, dass er sehr eigenwillig war. Er hat eine feste Meinung und die hat er auch vertreten. Das kann man ja in Aachen sehen. Er war ja bereit, die Stadt kampflos zu übergeben, trotz gegenteiligem Führerbefehl.
For this border town, steeped in history, is to be held as a fortress at any cost. Hitler has given strict orders.
If the enemy should enter Aachen, every house will be defended. There will be no retreat.
When they reach Aachen, the Wehrmacht are greeted by chaos. City and Nazi Party officials have long since left the city after issuing a vague order to evacuate.
Wie ich nach Aachen hereinkam, sah ich zu meinem Entsetzen, dass die ganze Bevölkerung unterwegs war mit Kind und Kegel und Handwagen und alles war aufgeregt und weinte. Die Stadt müsste sofort geräumt werden von aller Bevölkerung.
Das muss ihn alles sehr erschüttert haben. Und dann hat er die Offiziere, die bei ihm waren, zu sich gerufen und die beordert, in die Stadt zu fahren und die Bevölkerung zu beruhigen und sie aufzufordern, wieder zurückzugehen.
In the meantime, Schwerin makes arrangements for the peaceful surrender of Aachen. Apart from a few advanced guards, he keeps his division outside the city. He wants to avoid pointless street fighting. Looking for a way to communicate with the enemy, he goes to the city's telegraph office. Here he dares to break a military taboo. He leaves a message for the Americans, whose arrival he expects imminently. He writes in English.
I stop the stupid evacuation of civil population and ask you to give her relief. I'm the last commanding officer here, Gerhard Graf von Schwerin.
Has this Wehrmacht officer distinguished himself with this act from the ranks of obedient servants of the regime? To become the savior of Aachen, as he likes to be called after the war.
Aachen hat in ungewöhnlicher Weise mir gedankt dafür, dass ich den Versuch gemacht habe, die Stadt vor dem Untergang zu retten.
But he failed. Schwerin's plan did not work. For US forces do not enter Aachen. After a grueling chase, they've stopped to catch their breath. The protector of the city now has a serious problem. His deliberate defiance of an order will be exposed.
Als Schwerin wenige Stunden nach seinem Handeln am Morgen des 13. merkt, dass die Amerikaner nicht kommen, revidiert er seine Entscheidung sofort und schickt unmittelbar seine Panzergrenadierregimenter durch die Stadt in genau dieses Kampffeld, das er am Morgen hat vermeiden wollen.
Aachen does become a battleground, with everything that means for the inhabitants. In order to maintain discipline in the fortress city, the division now sets up a summary court-martial. It sentences 2 suspected looters to death. They had been caught on the streets. They're only 14 years old.
Wie ein Lauffeuer ging es denn mit einem Mal rund. Da hinten werden Kinder erschossen. Ich war natürlich neugierig und dann zerrte man die Kinder mit einem Mal aus der Haustür. Ich war sehr, sehr erschrocken, weil ich beide Jungs kannte. Ich konnte das ja nicht fassen. Dann hatten die Jungs die Augen verbunden mit so großen Herrentaschentüchern. Und der Karl, der rief immer, Mama, 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 ich will nicht sterben. Ich hab nichts getan, Mama, ich will nicht sterben. Und dann rief einer plötzlich Feuer und dann wurde auch schon geschossen. Und der Karl Schwarz, der fiel zwar hin,